Welcome back to the Self-Love Archives. I'm your host, Julia Salvia. How are you? Genuinely, how are you? How is your heart? How is your soul? How is your mind? How is your body? I want you to ask yourself these questions. Obviously. I wouldn't ask the question if I didn't want you to ask yourself the question. Ask yourself, how are you really? How are you really right now in this very moment? It is officially holiday season. And I know you're like, Julia, what does that have to do with all the questions you just told me to ask myself? I'm getting to it. The Christmas Carol, or any of the movies or remakes that have to do with Mr. Scrooge and past, present, and future, and the other guy that's in there. That's something I want to talk about today. There are so many lessons that you can learn from that movie or that movie teaches us. Should I have Googled what those are before jumping on camera and hanging out with you guys? Yeah, sure, probably. But I have something else in mind. What I have learned from that movie, though, first and foremost, is that all of these people who are being asked to look at themselves in the past, what has hurt them in the past, how that past has affected who they are in the present, and how it could potentially affect them in the future if they don't wake up and become more self-aware of how that past experience or past chapter or past part of their life has affected them. I have this really fun game. I don't know if I would put actually the word fun with it, but I got sent this beautiful card deck from this amazing company who I'm sure you're familiar with. I have actually been following them for a really long time and just really appreciated the questions that they ask in their games and the way that they just make you think. But the company is called We're Not Really Strangers, and they created a self-love deck. And this is by no means sponsored. I was just like, this came to me in a light bulb moment when I was trying to figure out what to film for this podcast. And the other day I watched such a great, but also the worst movie in the world. I don't know the name of it, but it has Ryan Reynolds in it and Will Ferrell in it. And I was like, this is going to be a good movie. Like, they're both great actors. Let's watch this movie. And it has to do with The Christmas Carol, but it's a musical. And I am not a musical kind of girl. Musicals, every time they sang in that movie, I was like, please shut up. Please stop. It's such a good movie. And then there was singing. Again, my opinion. But I watched that movie and I remembered that I have this deck. And this deck is a self-love deck. And I'm not sure if they do all their decks like this, but this one is categorized in past, present, and future. And they are questions to ask yourself. So I'm going to go through maybe 2 or 3 rounds of this with you. So get out a pen and a piece of paper, maybe get out your notes app, maybe get out the most beautiful notebook that you own, because this is going to be a guided writing podcast today. I don't know if those exist, but if they don't, we're starting it today because they exist today on the Self-Love Archives. I mean, an archive is this big book of lessons and teachings and memories. I almost think of the archive as this giant dictionary / scrapbook / diary / textbook, but a textbook you want to read, a / like memoir / biography / all of the above. So we're going to kick that off and create a part of your archive today with these cards. We did go through this card game with my friend Ange a couple of episodes ago. And besides that, I have not seen any of these cards. So I'm a little nervous because I'm going to answer them for you, but I also want you to answer them for yourself. So level 1 is past, level 2 is present, and level 3 is future. Today, we are going to be becoming more self-aware of ourselves, our past, our present, and our future. Let's jump into this. Card number 1. This is a wild card. So it says, look at a photo of yourself as a child. What do you see? I don't have any pictures of me as a child in front of me, but I can think of one. And it's actually a video. It's on my phone. It is a video of me. I'm maybe about 3 or 4, maybe a little older, 3, 4, or 5, no older than that, I don't think. And I'm in the kitchen and I actually think I might be younger than that. Maybe it is 3. I'm in the kitchen going through this box of makeup. And I'm showing my mom, who's taking the video, look, it's makeup. And wow, this is hard. The first thing that comes to my head is I see this little girl who has absolutely no idea what's next and who is just living in the moment, who is appreciative and loving of the tiny things, the small things. I see the truest version of myself, the happiest version of myself. Someone who just really doesn't have a care in the world, but in the best way possible. What about you? When you look at a photo of yourself as a child, what do you see? That question holds so much weight because when I think of myself as a child or look at a picture or a video of myself as a child, I'm like, wow. She has no idea what life is going to be. She has no idea what the next day and the next day is going to be. She's just living in her own little world. My boyfriend actually showed me pictures of him as a child earlier today, and I feel like it's the same thing for a lot of us. We look at ourselves as a child, and there's this vulnerability, this innocence, this hopefully happiness of living in the moment and not knowing and not even needing to know what's coming next. And for me, I do want to be specific that it does depend on what age I'm looking at. I think my teenage years are a little different from when I was a child. I've actually forgotten most of my childhood, and I don't remember a lot of things. I made a list actually on my phone every time I did remember something, whether it was sparked from a conversation or a smell or something. I wrote it down in my notes on my phone. I have to go and find that. It was my way of healing my inner child and trying to remember the things that I completely forgot. I remember next to nothing about my childhood. I'm talking, I barely remember anything before 14, truly. I remember what things looked like, and I almost attribute that to maybe pictures. And I don't believe that I genuinely remember that. And a lot of the times my memory has to be jogged. You know, when someone says something and you're like, oh, or someone talks about something, or you smell something, or an action happens, or something happens and it just jogs your memory. I need that to happen for me to remember anything of my childhood before 14. That is slightly concerning to me, but a lot of really heavy things happened in my early teens, from 14 to, now. So many things have transpired that I don't think that there is room in my SpongeBob file cabinets to keep any memories from when I was a child. But it's really amazing to remember anything, even if it's the smallest memory, visualization, chapter, conversation. It's really nice to remember that. So if you're having difficulty answering this question or remembering things from your childhood, maybe you should also keep a little notes app action on your phone and write down whatever it is every time you do remember, so that you can go back and continuously remember all of those moments. We are moving on to level 2, which is present. Oh, I love this question so much, and I think you're going to love this one too. Are you ready? What's the best thing you've done for yourself recently? Oh, a great question, but a tough answer. My body has changed a lot in the past couple of months, years, and I have new stretch marks, new cellulite, and a new physical body that I'm not used to. I have a lot more gray hair now. I know you can't see it. I know you're like, wait, what, girl? Let me tell you something. If I section off my hair right now, the whole thing's gray. I just feel very lucky that it's not like in the front of my head, and it's not in my middle part. So I'm saying that now. We're writing that down. On the day that I'm filming this, which is December 1st, 2023, I have no gray hairs in the front of my head. They're coming in everywhere else though. But the best thing that I've done for myself recently is every time I look in the mirror or I film a video, I have been more adamant about telling myself, I love you. This seems like such a minuscule, silly thing, but it has really allowed me to be kinder to myself. There are changes that I want to make, whether that's to lose weight, dye my hair, whatever it may be. I still need to love who I am and where I'm at in this chapter now, because if I don't now, then what makes me think I'm going to tomorrow and the next day and the next day? It's enjoying and being appreciative and grateful for the journey that we're on to get to that place. So tell yourself you love yourself in the mirror. As silly as it sounds, tell yourself you love yourself. Talk to yourself. I talk to myself all day. Actually, my boyfriend comes around and always is like, are you talking to yourself? And I'm like, yeah, don't you? This isn't weird. Oh, I love these. Let's go on to number 3, level 3, future. Oh, before I even read this question, I need you to understand how much I personally think about my future. I always thought I lingered on my past, but after I healed so much and have accepted so much of my past and have said, it defines me, but it doesn't define me. I don't need to mention it in every conversation. I don't need to tell people my story if it's not like I don't need to. It's a part of me, but it's a part of me, but does not define me. My past is a part of me, but it does not define me. So I am definitely a future liver. I live in the future. And sometimes it's better to live in the present. I think it is the best to live in the present and to let the future come as it comes. So that is something I'm working on now. As we get into this question. Ooh, these are good. Are you ready? Pen and paper. Notes app. What do you no longer want to wait for? Oh, just as you right now sitting here thinking about the answer to this question, I have to sit and think about the answer to this question. What do you no longer want to wait for? What do I no longer want to wait for? The right time. The right time. I no longer want to wait for the right time for something. Is there a time and a place for everything? Yes. For example, my boyfriend and I communicate completely differently. I am like we just had an argument 5 seconds ago. Let's communicate right now about it. And he's more like, let us like debrief, cool down our emotions, and we'll come back to it. I am more of like, right then and there, let's do it. Those are different scenarios. I'm talking, I don't want to wait for the right time to launch something. I don't want to wait for the perfect time to go do something or to buy something or to provide myself with something or to love myself. I don't want to wait for the right time to love myself. I don't want to wait for the right time anymore. Because the right time isn't then, it's not in 5 days, it's not in a year. The right time is right now. Why don't you start doing it right now? Why don't you go and ask that person that question right now? What is the worst thing that could happen? Have you ever watched This Is Us? Oh, gut-wrenching. I think I cried every time I watched an episode. But in This Is Us, one of the couples there, what they go and do is every time they're nervous or worried about something, they talk about the worst case scenario, like the absolute worst thing that could happen, right? And in a sense, it sets their expectations so low that when whatever happens does come to fruition, it's not as bad or doesn't seem as bad, or they're prepared for the worst case scenario because they had already brought it to the surface. They brought all of their worries and all of their emotions to the surface of what was coming up. And most of the time, it doesn't even end up being close to that. This is the same thing that I want you to do when you're quote unquote waiting for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. Ask the question now. Like, ask that person out to dinner that you've been wanting to ask out. Talk to this person about doing something. Go and go skydiving. Do it. What are you waiting for? There is no perfect time. Something that really makes you feel this way too is losing someone. If there was anything that I had begged my dad to go and do, especially once I moved out and he ended up having heart issues and a bunch of other things, I kept telling him, go to these places that you want to go to. He had this thing with Montana. I'm like, go to Montana. Go to this country. Go see your family in Italy. Like, go do these things. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? And unfortunately, he never ended up going to do any of those things. And I hope I get to do those things for him. I will get to go do those things for him. And he'll be with me as I do them. But what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Let's do another round. How are you feeling? Are you feeling good? I feel good. I love these. These are getting me chatty. Sometimes doing a podcast by yourself is quite difficult. This is my own fear unlocking. What am I waiting for? Let's go back to that question. Julia, what are you waiting for? Just start asking people to be on the podcast. Stop being scared. What's the worst that could happen? Say no? Then they're shit out of luck because they don't get to be on this amazing podcast. We're going back to the past. A blast to the past. Are you ready? This is a really good one. Are you ready? Are you sure? Are you sure? What forced you to grow, even if it was hard? Oh. Gut-wrenching. Gut-wrenching. What forced you to grow, even if it was hard? Ugh, that is a good question. What forced you to grow, even if it was hard? I think I could name a million things, but none of them are coming to my brain right now. Let me name some simple things. living on my own, like moving to college and being completely on my own, I was so excited, and I definitely wasn't like shell shocked when I moved to college, because I had already been, somewhat taking care of myself before I left. Like I was doing, the basics, like I was doing my own laundry, I was feeding myself, those basic things that I hope someone at like 17, 18 is doing for themselves, because then they really will be shell shocked when they go to somewhere like college, if they have the privilege to do so. I can't say that it forced me to grow. It was just a very slow process. Forced me to grow was being in spaces that made me small. And those spaces are in a lot of the relationships that I inhabited, which were not good for me. Those forced me to grow, because if I did not grow in these shit relationships, wouldn't have been able to get myself out of them. And I don't believe I would have had the strength to get myself out of them. So what forced me to grow was like that gut feeling, that intuition inside of me that was like, hey, this isn't good. Why are you still here? This is not how you deserve to be treated. And I think the very, very last one was a testament to, I don't want to use the word gaslighting, but that is what was happening in the relationship, but those very twisted moments of, am I the problem? Or no, you're the problem. But why are you making it seem like I'm the problem? It's like everything was twisted. Everything was so emotionally manipulated that it was so tough to take a step back and be like, okay, this is what's happening right here. But all in all, I think that there was immense growth in each of these relationships, especially from who I was when I started the relationship to who I was when I finally decided to leave, and then who I became after I left. Even in my relationship now, I love the relationship that I'm in. I mean, you would hope so, right? But I do. I love Nick, and I think there has been so much growth from the Julia that I was when I first met him to who I am now. And it has been hard. It has been hard to realize the unhealthy things that I was bringing into the relationship just because of what I was so used to be more self-aware of that, to be able to communicate with our very completely different communication styles, to be able to grow as a person who is vulnerable and who has been vulnerable and who has been hurt so much, to grow in a relationship that is healthy and to grow in a healthy way. Whew, what a question. So what forced you to grow even if it was hard? What forced you to grow even if it was long, even if it was difficult, even if it was emotional? What forced you to grow? Question number 2 of round 2, level 2, 222. This is a present question. Are you ready? Do you know what I just thought of as I said that? I know we don't like Zoe anymore. That's not her name, but Zoe 101. Are you ready? Ooh, I'm just another kind of girl. Question number 2. What do you need to feel safe in any kind of relationship? I like this one. This is a good one because I have been setting quite a few boundaries and have definitely changed the way that I view relationships in the past couple of months. Saturn return in the 7th house. Love that for me. Little astrology there. I need to be able to irrevocably be myself. In order for me to feel safe in my relationships, I need to be able to be myself. And I believe that it's possible to be yourself 80% and not be 100% of yourself. It doesn't mean that you're not being yourself, and doesn't mean that you're like withholding parts of yourself, But it just means that you don't need to share 100% of yourself with everyone, not even the inner part of your circle. You don't even need to do that. There is still a sense of safety that I need to feel. This safety of vulnerability that I need to feel with the people who I have relationships with. And if I don't feel that you are giving good energy to me, and that I fully can be, or I can't even be 50% of myself with you, I don't usually want to have a relationship with you. There are so many other things that I think it very much depends on who the relationship is with. I could name a whole list of things that I need in a significant other romantic type relationship to feel safe. When it comes to all relationships, it's truly just being able to be myself. Question number 3, level 3, future. Ooh, this is similar to that of the last question. So our last question was, what do you no longer want to wait for? This one is, what will you have to let go of soon? What are you holding on to right now that you need to let go of? I keep thinking that I need to let go of things in my career. I feel when I talk about work stuff, it's really boring. But let me know if you want me to talk about it a little bit more. I just get so in my head about it and I overthink it just so much. I've been feeling lately, but it's not aligning. It's just something that keeps coming to my head, like I need to let go of something in regards to work because it's taking too much of my time. Like I can't catch up. I can't create all this content for all these different platforms from all these things that I'm doing. And if you're wondering what those things that I'm doing are, and I pulled tarot cards yesterday for myself, which not yesterday, 2 days ago. And I do that once in a while. And I need to ask more specific questions, but usually I just ask the tarot cards, like, what do I need to know? And it usually does tell me. Hold on, I wrote this down. I'm really good with astrology, but I am not amazing with tarot yet. I had a Knight of Pentacles. The way that it was interpreted for me is like, put your head down and just work. Then the Knight of Cups reversed. And that means disappointment. And that is how I've been feeling lately. I always think like just work hard, but I've been very disappointed in myself lately. Then I had the Queen of Swords, and that is setting your emotions aside. So to me, that came off as like, okay, you have this disappointment that you're feeling about all this work you've been doing because you have been putting your head down and you have been like just working and grinding, but you've been feeling disappointment about it. So the Queen of Swords is here as like, yeah, set those emotions aside. Just keep it going. Then there was a 3 of Swords. Now, usually when I pull tarot cards, it's interesting. I usually get 4 cards. I let the cards kind of choose for me. I don't just pick one. I keep shuffling the deck until some fall out. And I normally go to pick 3, but this time 4 came. And the 4th one was the 3 of Swords. And it was this feeling of hopelessness. And that is how I've been feeling right now. I think that the 3 of Swords, because there's 3 swords, I've been feeling hopeless in all of these areas of work. So I have you guys, the Self-Love Archives, as my self-love brand, and that I've been working on and building. And I've been feeling a lot of disappointment with myself because there's so much more I want to do, but I feel like I can't keep up with my other job, which is Beauty by Julia, the original social media that I started building. And I feel like I can't let that go, because if I let that go, then what is the Self-Love Archives? And then we have Jersey Girl Diaries, which is more of this like fun platform for me to share my recipes and so much more. And it's something that I felt like I feel like if there's anything I was going to let go, it's going to be that. But at the same time, that's been so enjoyable for me. And interestingly enough, it actually does really well. So what did the tarot cards tell me? Well, the tarot cards told me to really put your emotions aside and just grind. And that there is nothing to let go of. you're just going to feel this disappointment because you are one human being and there's only so much you can do because you're just one person. So what will I have to let go of? I will have to let go of the expectation and this pedestal that I'm putting myself on, because there really are only 24 hours in a day and I don't need to do it all. Do I want to do it all? Yes, I want to do it all, but I don't need to do it all. I picked one last question for today's podcast for good luck, but I'm looking at it and it has become so aligning in the perfect way to close out our guided writing session together today, this morning, wherever you are in the world. What are you spending more energy on than you have to give? What are you spending more energy on than you have to give? Like, shit. Work. Let me repeat that. For me, work. I'm very hard on myself, and there are so many things that I want to do and I want to be and I want to have, and sometimes it's just too much. I've been so tired recently, but I really have been loving, as overwhelming as it has been, I really have been loving work and everything that I have created and everything that I have planned and everything that I want to do, but it is a lot and it's really tiring. So I've been spending a lot of energy on that, and I believe that I need to take some of that energy away and prioritize it a little bit differently, and maybe put some of that or a lot of that energy into my health and getting back into the gym and getting back into the Self-Love 100 and really doing all of those things. I'm just so connected to what I'm really trying to achieve that it's sometimes hard to put it down and say, hey, you can't achieve any of that if you don't take care of the person who's trying to achieve it. So I'm going to stop drinking this coffee at 10:30 at night, and I'm going to go, well, I might have a sip or two more, and I'm going to go drink a giant glass of water. I'm going to close out this guided writing session that we have done together on the past, present, and future. And I hope you loved this. And if you did, I'd love to revisit this guided writing together. And I think this was so fun. Thank you so much, always, for tuning into the Self-Love Archives podcast. You are amazing. You are beautiful. You are so cared for and so loved. And I thank you. Thank you for being here. I love you guys, and I will see you next week, same time. Bye.